I'm going to tell you about the day karma exploded in a cloud of black dust right in the middle of my driveway, covering my HOA president from head to toe. You ever see a grown woman in an $80,000 Mercedes, shrieking like she'd been attacked by a ghost pepper, powder everywhere, neighbors recording the meltdown for the internet? Yeah, that's the show Delilah Thornfield gave us. The same woman who'd been stealing from my woodpile for months. The same pile she threatened to fine me for. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't just feel angry. I felt vindicated. Now, before you judge, let me set the scene. I'm Marcus Caldwell, 52, retired Army engineer. Well, medically retired after an IED left my left leg in worse shape than a used-up tire. I get by on disability, a little over $2,000 a month, which in Pine Ridge Estates, Colorado, barely covers what my neighbors spend just to keep their lawns looking like golf courses. Winter's here. They don't care if you're on a fixed income. When the temperature drops and your old furnace wheezes its last breath, you either get creative or you freeze. That's why I spent my last paycheck on 2 cords of seasoned oak, stacked with the kind of precision only a military man would bother with. The smell in my shop was all pine sap and wood smoke, felt like home. But in this neighborhood, there's always someone watching, someone who thinks community standards means what I say goes. Enter Delilah. Picture every HOA stereotype you know, then add a luxury car, a real estate license, and a smile sharp enough to cut stone. She ruled Pine Ridge like a petty monarch, ruling on garden gnomes, shutter colors, the length of your grass, even the volume of your laughter, I swear. Her list of offenders was legendary. Charged families for playground swings, forced old ladies to rip up flower beds, racked up fees like she was running a Vegas casino. The first theft happened during a VA appointment. I came home, noticed a third of my woodpile vanished, fresh tire tracks in the mud. My cheap security camera, of course, conveniently glitched that morning. Knocked on Delilah's door, and the smell of money hit me before she even opened it. Stood there in a cashmere sweater worth my monthly groceries, giving me that look, the one that says, "You don't belong here." She denied everything, practically gaslit me in her marble entryway, while her garage was stacked with what's suspiciously like mine. "You accusing me of stealing?" she asked, all fake offense and pearl clutching. That's when I realized Delilah was the type to eat your lunch out of the break room fridge, then help you look for it while chewing the last bite. So instead of getting mad, I got methodical. I requested all the HOA board meeting minutes, which by law, she had to provide. No made-up fees allowed. She tried to stall with administrative processing charges, but I pushed through. What I found was a gold mine of self-dealing, emergency landscaping payments to her own company, and, of course, a rewritten bylaw limiting decorative wood storage, a rule that didn't exist until she invented it. Time for some evidence. I borrowed a neighbor's trail camera. Hunters use them for deer. Set up in my workshop, pointed right at my pile. 3 days later, there it was, Delilah's teenage son loading my wood at dawn, her Mercedes idling nearby. Knocked on her door again, this time with video. She doubled down, tried to spin it as a fire hazard, said she was protecting the community. I quoted the covenant back at her. She threatened to file for harassment. That's when the neighborhood rumor mill started grinding. Delilah told everyone I was a dangerous veteran, unstable, threatening. She turned herself into the hero in her own little drama, protecting families from me, the evilwood hoarder. But I'd seen this play before. Every problem has a solution. I filed a formal request for the HOA's financials, then a complaint with the state board. $25 well spent just to see Delilah's face when the official letter arrived. She called an emergency HOA meeting, no notice, another violation. I showed up, waived the covenant, and asked the room to find her imaginary wood rule. You should have heard the silence. Neighbors started reading their contracts for the first time, realizing they'd been paying for her reign of terror. Then karma, real, actual karma, showed up. Her son dropped a log on her Mercedes hood while stealing from my pile. The dent was huge, and my camera caught the whole thing. That wasn't just property damage. That was poetic justice. But the more I dug, the more I realized I wasn't the only one. Mrs. Rodriguez had paid $500 for a review fee just to repair her porch. Vietnam vet Bob Henley got cited for excessive vehicle storage. He owned 2 cars, while Delilah's family had 4. The pattern was clear. Every violation was made up, every fee padded, every dollar funneled into Delilah's pocket. We held a war council in my garage. 12 neighbors, years of resentment, mountains of documentation. That's when Patricia, the retired teacher, dropped a bombshell. Her daughter Sarah, a paralegal, had checked state filings. Delilah hadn't filed HOA paperwork in 3 years. Legally, she had 0 authority. Every violation, every fine, totally unenforceable. Instead of going nuclear, we waited, let her dig her own grave a little deeper. But I needed a bigger solution for my wood. See, Delilah wasn't just stealing for a fireplace. She was selling my premium oak on Facebook Marketplace, $300 a load. This was organized crime, not petty theft. So I engineered a trap, hollow logs filled with ultra-fine charcoal powder, fitted with spring-loaded plugs. Legal? Checked. Harmless? Just messy. Activated charcoal is used for detox smoothies. Worst case, you need a car wash. I set them in the pile, mixed with real logs, and waited. Meanwhile, Delilah spread even nastier rumors, painting military families as threats, trying to rally the neighborhood against us. She didn't count on the veterans banding together. Bob brought in his network. Mrs. Rodriguez rallied the family she'd targeted. Patricia's teaching friends started showing up to meetings. We were done being bullied. The stage was set. I arranged the hollow logs, set GPS trackers, enlisted the neighbors to document everything. On my next VA appointment, Delilah couldn't resist. She and her son, plus an accomplice, showed up in broad daylight, loaded up the logs. The powder charges went off, black clouds everywhere. Her Mercedes looked like it had been through a coal mine. Neighbors filmed the whole thing. She shrieked about terrorist attacks. I came home to find her, face smeared with charcoal, truck full of my wood. Bob recorded. Patricia produced documents. Mrs. Rodriguez called 911. The cops showed up. Delilah tried to play the victim, said I'd booby-trapped my pile. Officer Martinez, himself a veteran, wasn't having it. He asked her point blank if she took my wood. She stammered, admitted it, tried to say it was a community hazard. He explained, politely, that stealing is still stealing, powder or not. The next HOA meeting, packed house, news cameras, neighbors ready for blood. Delilah tried to spin the story, but I had evidence, GPS logs, video, receipts. Patricia's daughter read the law. No state filings, no authority. Delilah's lawyer advised her to plead the fifth. You could feel the room turn. I got a standing ovation. Delilah tried to storm out, tripped on the stairs, more viral video fodder. Within months, the board kicked her out. She was charged with fraud, forced to pay restitution. Her real estate license? Suspended. She had to sell her house, lost her Mercedes. Even her son had to change schools after the video went viral. Our new board slashed HOA dues, actually started helping people. We threw wood-splitting parties, rebuilt Mrs. Rodriguez's garden. Bob set up a community workshop. The whole neighborhood changed. You know what I still think about, though? It's not the explosion or Delilah's meltdown or even the headlines. It's how long this went on. Months of theft, years of fake fees, a whole neighborhood bullied by one person with a taste for power and a fancy car. And all it took was someone finally saying, "Who gave you permission to steal from me?" That's the real lesson. Justice doesn't just happen. Sometimes you have to build it yourself, one hollow log at a time. So now I'm asking you, you listening right now, what's your breaking point? When do you say enough? Drop your story below. Share a time you finally stood up to a bully or watched someone else do it. Because the only thing scarier than facing a tyrant is realizing how long you've been kneeling.